Hello everyone, the Nerdy Steve here, and today I will be featuring a black-red sack deck in the Dominaria United Standard. This is played on the client that hashtag sponsored WotC gave us, or me specifically, access to play a couple days before it was released, all for free, so again, thank you for that. But yeah, this is a black-red deck that kind of stems from what I've been playing a lot with Oniko Anvil, to sacrifice, artifacts to create, constructs and do a lot of fun stuff with that. The main card I want to talk about, though, is Braids, Arisen Nightmare. Braids is a 3-mana 3/3, which at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So, that's a lot. What does it mean? So at the end of our turn, we can sacrifice a permanent. If we sacrifice an artifact, our opponent then has the option to either sacrifice an artifact or not. If our opponent sacrifices an artifact, nothing happens. They sacrifice the artifact. If our opponent doesn't, then our opponent will lose 2 life and we draw a card. So similarly, if we sacrifice a creature, opponent can then choose to sacrifice a creature, or choose to let us draw a card and have them lose 2 life. Now, historically, one of the problems with these types of, we call them Punisher effects, where, your opponent has to choose between 2 bad things, is that you're usually giving your opponent the choice of what to do. It's very similar to Ob Nixilis's +1. Each opponent loses 2 life unless they discard a card. And usually giving your opponent that choice between 2 effects is a lot worse than just having one of those effects, because, oh, great, now, your opponent's always going to choose the better one, right? So you have very little control over it, and that's partially why Ob Nixilis didn't see a lot of play in the previous standard, right? Because your opponent would always discard cards if they needed the life, or would just lose 2 life if they didn't care, right? So why is Braids any different? And the reason is, if your opponent can't sacrifice the same card type that you did, you get this effect. And so, if we play Braids on turn 3, after we played a Blood Tithe Harvester on turn 2, we will have a Blood token. And we can sacrifice that Blood token, and it's very, very likely our opponent will not have an artifact on the battlefield. So we sacrifice the Blood token, and guess what? Now our opponent loses 2 life, and we draw a card. And that's kind of how we want to, leverage Braids as much as possible. We have enchantments, we have planeswalkers, we have artifacts, and we have everything. And so it's going to be really, really good. And also, while your opponent most likely will always have lands on the battlefield, that is a very, very underrated part of this card too. Or not underrated, but a really cool part about this card too, right? We have a very, very low mana curve deck. We stop at 3, so we don't need a lot of lands. But if we can sacrifice a land to make our opponent sacrifice a land, usually that's just going to hurt them a lot more than us. So that's also a really cool part of this deck. And of course there's other new cards, but those don't matter as much as Braids. So let's go play some games and see how this deck plays out. Okay. So we have Voldaren Epicure turn 1, followed by an experimental synthesizer maybe, we'll see. Opponent is choosing whether or not to mulligan, so that's a start. And our opponent has mulliganed once, but we'll keep this. Alright, and we have 3 mana now. So that was a little bit of a worry, right? If we don't get our 3rd land, then we can't Fable. But now, since we don't have to worry about that, we can also... Oh, that's... we've drawn very well. We don't have to run out an experimental synthesizer and hope to get a land. So I'm very, very happy. Our opponent's also Braids here. So we love that. And an Angel deck, apparently. Let's Fable. And we attack. Inspiring Overseer to gain 1 life. We can see what our opponent does here. Would love to... I didn't loot away the synthesizer because I want to actually use them. Maybe that's not good. Like, maybe we could have waited or tried to get a land. Like, I mean, we looted away a land. So, do you know what? I probably shouldn't have done anything. I liked my hand. Yeah, that was probably very, very silly. Because now we also need lands. Because missing a land drop was very, very bad. Okay. Let's see, what can we do now? We'll just do this, get a bunch of 1/1s. And then we'll have a big meat hook massacre down the line, right? And we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine, right? Mm-hmm. No blocks. Oh! No idea what our opponent is doing here, actually. Oh, we got a Braids, everyone. Our opponent goes up. And at the end of our turn, our opponent does not have any artifacts, so that's what we're going to sacrifice to make our opponent lose 2 life and us draw a card. Elspeth Resplendent.
I won't let a few thugs threaten this city.
Getting a shield counter, and I don't think that's gonna be enough. Opponent goes up to 12 life. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna, at the end of our opponent's turn, Kiki Jiki, copy Kiki Jiki, copy Kiki Jiki. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. GG. Alright, we'll keep this hand. We kind of have like an ideal hand in some ways. We're taking a lot of damage, but that's okay. Golden Epic Cure here, followed by Blood Type Harvester, and then we can Braids away a blood. Oh, but if our opponent has artifacts, then that's not gonna work out. So who knows what's gonna happen. We'll see what happens here, though. Artifact spells cost 1 less to cast. Okay, now they cost 2 less. Alright. So what I want to do is that. And then do it. Let's just go for Braids. I think we can. We'll have Braids and sacrifice that. Make our opponent choose. Our opponent lost 2 life and we drew a card, right? So that's kind of great. Karn Living Legacy. Okay. Create a tapped Power Stone.
The Thran still have secrets to uncover.
Then we get to Meat Hook for 2. Which is a little unfortunate. We can attack Karn for 1. But Karn is awkwardly creating artifacts that can keep up with Braids. And I don't appreciate that at all. But at least it's stopping, you know, our opponent from getting a lot of mana, so that's fine. We'll see how it goes.
Every Power Stone.
Rabbit Battery. Okay. Take 1. What is our opponent gonna do here? Phase it out? Okay. I can appreciate that. So now we lose a trigger from it, but that's fine. Tapped Power Stone. Okay. Rabbit. Alright. Our opponent has really nothing going on here. So we're kind of like in a really good spot. Our opponent drew a lot of lands. And that's not particularly good in this position for them. Because our opponent's under a lot of pressure, right?
Treachery befalls us.
Let's sacrifice Unlucky Witness. We don't need to sacrifice an artifact. Huh. Ouch. 2, we're at 14. Let's see what we get with Experimental Synthesizer. We'll attack again. Sacrificing Voldaren Epicure. Our opponent's gonna have to... Our opponent is just... taking damage and not sacrificing the rabbit batteries. Which... it's not a good spot to be in. GG. Alright, we keep here. So... again, we have a... if we can draw a black source, we have an engine going, right? So let's hope we can do that. Oh, looks like our opponent is on possibly a similar thing. And we got our black source. So I am very, very happy right now. Now, the problem is our opponent has artifacts to sacrifice for the Braids, but I think we're... oh, that's unfortunate. No blocks. And then we'll sacrifice the Voldaren Epicure to make our opponent sack 1 as well. Do you know what? Maybe if I knew I was going to do the Braids on turn 3, I wanted to keep the blood and not turn it to a construct. I think that was a mistake on my end. So we're already learning. We are already learning. Because, like, that 1 damage from the Oni Cult isn't worth losing the Braids trigger, I don't think. So, okay.
Without the sun, I'll light your way. You're lucky this is a warning shot.
At least we get the trigger Unlucky Witness. We really want some type of artifact, and we got it. I would love another red source, right? Not gonna happen. But this is really good because at least now we can start gaining life. We have another creature, and hopefully this Chandra could potentially get really, really bad for us. We don't want our opponent to get any type of card advantage.
We should all follow our
A mountain, love it. Ouch, that's not good. Huh. We'll do this because we get to scry, and if we can scry a land to the top, then we can experimental synthesizer for free. Oh, beautiful. Like, now we don't have to worry about it. That was really, really good. Really good. Uh-oh. Jaya and Chandra. Okay. Opponent's getting a lot of stuff too.
Go on. Impress me.
Alright. Let's get our own Oni Cult out. Now I have no idea which ones to get rid of. Alright, GG. Okay. We have a turn 1 play, followed by a turn 2 Harvester into Mirror Breaker. Again, we're taking a lot of damage, but honestly, other than wishing our Sulphurous Springs was a mountain, this hand is pretty much perfect, right? Oh, is our opponent... Oh, our opponent is a legendary deck, it's looking like. I think we... Ooh, do I just... I think I just go and kill this, and then mirror? Yeah, that makes sense, I think. We can save our grasp for later. Or, like, on something this turn. Denick. Ooh. This hand has just gone very, very well for us, though. And really, really showcasing the power of Fable of the Mirror Breaker, right? It has allowed us to play, like, perfectly on curve, getting everything we want. It's just incredible. Let's discard that, I think. I want to discard the swamp, or loot it away, rather. Alright. Then this. I don't know if I want to attack yet, so we'll just use the blood to drain. Catilda, okay. Oh, at the beginning of your end step, if you control... Okay. That's pretty good, actually. Oh. Hmm. This is a little scary, actually. I was hoping our opponent would mess up a little bit, but it seemed like our opponent did not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them sacrifice a card.
And I don't appreciate it when people touch my one of your friends has to leave.
And then at the end of our turn, we will Braids away Liliana to make our opponent lose 2 life. And we say go. Uh-oh, Joda, everyone. Huh. Do that. Then I think I kind of want to do an Unlucky Witness. Oh, GG. I'll take it. Well, everyone, thank you for watching me play some Black-Red Oni Sacrifice with Braids on the Dominaria United Early Access #sponsored stream. This was great. I love this deck, and I can't wait to play with it more and hone it a little bit. Again, we got to play with Weatherlight Completed and Liliana, and I'm sure there are ways we can, you know, change things up and change the numbers. Obnixilis is a card I like a little more in the current standard than I had previously, so that's going to be fun to play with. But I'm just very, very excited to explore new standard, and I'm very happy to show off these new decks. And again, this week, it's going to be released on the regular client, and I can't wait to play, and I can't wait to see you there. So if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Great way to support me. You can also watch me stream live at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.